Imagine you're in a mall. There's a lot of people, but the problem is they speak alien languages. When you reach out, they retreat. You try to speak to them, but nobody listens. Nobody understands. You are foreign, an alien. But you are all people, humans. A wave of hopelessness hits you. And for some, this feeling is a reality every single day. It's a feeling we call loneliness. Loneliness can feel like you're in a deep hole. You see all the people that are important to you at the edge of the hole looking down on you. You know they see you and they know you need help. It's almost as if they look directly into your eyes for a split second and then just as quickly look away, as if not to be bothered by your situation. Some faces are those of acquaintances, and it's easier to understand why they wouldn't interact. But the faces of significant others and loved ones are important to you, but there is no interaction or concern from them either. To be alone and to be lonely are not the same thing. To be alone is to be physically by yourself. Loneliness is to be alone mentally and emotionally. As such, someone can find themselves surrounded by a surplus of friends and still find themselves at night wishing for someone to be there for them. For someone to reach out and tell them that they care about them, and vice versa. Someone can be physically alone but hold the knowledge that someone out there cares for them and have the ability to rely on them if needed. And oftentimes, all that's needed is a few friends. Most people aren't looking for someone who understands them fully, but someone who at least tries to understand them, to comfort them. They may not understand our alien language, but their effort is enough to fuel us to keep going, to keep communicating, to keep living. As US philosopher and psychiatrist Carl Jung puts it, loneliness does not come from having no people around, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to oneself, or from holding certain views that others find inadmissible. This feeling isn't uncommon either. In a recent report by Cigna US Loneliness Index, 61% of American adults report that they sometimes or always feel lonely, and the numbers are only increasing. This feeling of loneliness only serves to aggravate mental health issues, often associated with the feeling such as depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, sleep problems, and increased stress. This creates a spiral effect that leads others deeper down a hole that they can never crawl out of on their own. In a perfect world, we'd all talk to each other and make the conscious effort to alleviate the pain others are going through. But unfortunately, this isn't a perfect world. But there are still ways to properly deal with it and make life tolerable while going through it. I won't use the word eliminate because to eliminate loneliness is to eliminate emotion. Loneliness is an inevitable feeling, just as feeling sad or happy is inevitable. It is a feeling that every person goes through in their life, and one can only hope that it doesn't last long or that they are properly equipped to deal with it. So first things first, we find ourselves at a crossroad of how to go about dealing with loneliness. There are two options. For the first one, we can toss it up to luck that someone out there will find us and care for us and help us heal. Surely out of the 7 billion people in the world, one of them is willing to help us out of the hole of loneliness that we find ourselves in. The only issue with this plan being that it's out of our control. The fact is, most people never find the person who would do that for them. Most people go through life lonely and miserable, sometimes even ending that life abruptly. So, what about the second option? The second option gives us something we can control: ourselves. Loneliness is a state of mind, and we can process it similarly to how we process emotions. And as anger and greed can take over a person's life, so can loneliness. The first step to dealing with it is to recognize that it is loneliness, and it's not you being weird or being an outsider. Everybody experiences it, and you're not any different for feeling this way. It's alright to be lonely, but you can't allow it to take over your life. Acknowledge it and allow yourself to feel it, but don't let it swallow you up. Accept it. And after that, you can finally move forward. Loneliness gives you time and chances that you would otherwise not have. And having no deep connection with others, you're able to form a deep connection with yourself. You find things in yourself that were not noticeable before due to the white noise from others. This will take time and a lot of hardships. If it were easy, everybody would be content. But even when it gets hard, try taking that one step, and then one more, and then just one more, until the hole that you find yourself in is behind you. Loneliness will pass one way or another, for all things come to pass with time. It's just making the most out of the misery of it all. You might never find someone who digs you out of that hole. Not everybody is that lucky. And you're left with only one lingering question. Do you continue sinking or crawl out of it?